Now, let's get straight into it, Jake, with something that's completely unscripted. John Barilaro.
Yes, the B
Now,
bar.
the big John B.
A bar.
The swoop John B. What is that song? What's
Yeah,
that?
you way outside of my wheelhouse.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. And okay. Now this I only want to really touch on this a little bit. I've been delving deep into what might be known as the dark web, Jake. It's not really the dark web. It's just Friendly Jordies. But Friendly Jordies has been this week pretty forceful in his critiques and pretty forceful in bringing to light, well, what he considers to be bringing to light some of the corruption that John Barilaro has engaged with. We are under no circumstance suggesting that John Barilaro has engaged in corruption, but this is what or corrupt practices, but this is certainly what Friendly Jordies has been proposing this week. And he's also been proposing that he's got some evidence around that and presenting that too. So if you do want to check out that's a pretty big story this week.
Is he sending that evidence to, say, New South Wales has anti-corruption.
Yes.
A triple C.
Yep. He's all of the evidence that he's using is actually backed up by journalists and stories that he's presenting on his videos, right? So there's sort of not really any, I don't know. Anyway, he's got a team of researchers
he's not
now.
He's forward his own stuff. He's
some of the
connecting dots.
That's right. He's a dot connector. Yeah. And so John Barilaro was under a lot of pressure. Now, one of the funny things that Friendly Jordies did was actually present all of this information on his YouTube channel while he filmed the video in John Barilaro's Airbnb.
Whoa.
Okay. So he means business, right? He certainly means to ruffle some feathers. I do encourage you to check the video out because it's quite entertaining, ballsy, if nothing else. Now, what the quote mainstream media has done is sort of present this as though this is just a YouTube comedian who's bragging about sex acts in John Barilaro's Airbnb because that's what he did as part of the video. So he's sort of avoiding the fact that he's actually attempting to bring to light alleged corruption on John Barilaro's part. Now, at the same time, at the same time that he's announced that he's going to have another video ready to go this coming Friday, John Barilaro has announced that he's going to be taking some mental health leave. So for those who aren't in the know about the Friendly Jordies situation, which I imagine would be a lot of people sort of my age, because the only reason I'm on YouTube is because we run this podcast, right? So a lot of people my age wouldn't have a clue. They would just see that John Barilaro was under a lot of pressure about this whole koala situation, and now all of a sudden he's taking some mental health leave. But I don't want to understate the impact that I think this Friendly Jordies situation is having on John Barilaro and his career at the moment. Now, 2 points about this. Firstly, if the alleged corruption happened, then that's not good. Okay? And I think that John Barilaro is well within his rights to try and have a bit of a break and distance himself if that's the case. I suppose, long story short, if a good thing comes out of all of this is if a politician is able to normalise having a mental health break as part of your job and make that a very positive thing, then I think that's good, right? I'm not saying that I think if the corruption happened, then that's not good. If it didn't happen, then that's also not good because he's getting a lot of pressure from a lot of circles and all that sort of stuff. But at the same time, if a good thing comes from it, I think it would be that if John Barilaro can normalise having mental health, time off for mental health reasons, and I think that's a really good thing. What do you think? Have I gone too deep?
No, I completely agree that if normalising the premise of a mental health break, that's great. It comes a week after Are You OK Day, which is, of course, the only day of the calendar year where you are allowed to discuss mental health issues.
Yeah.
So he did sort of miss the timing on that, which is a little bit unfortunate. I think if ICAC was the body that I was of the government body that I was thinking of essentially the body that looks after and investigates institutional corruption, particularly that pertaining to government. So if there is evidence of that, I would sincerely hope, as a citizen of this country, and not a citizen of New South Wales, but if there is any suggestion of corruption, I would sincerely hope that is being appropriately investigated by the relevant government or police bodies.
That's right.
So I mean, look, both of what you said, it's not mutually exclusive things. I think both things are correct. Great to normalise the fact that we all have, we all have a certain number. I love the analogy of spoons. Have you been introduced to the analogy of spoons?
No, I haven't been introduced to the analogy of spoons, Jake.
So you only have a certain number of spoons that you have access to, and
I work at a school, Jake.
You have,
and that staff room is like
spoon central.
It's a spoon central. I have access to an infinite amount of spoons. I know what you mean. Yeah, I'm just kidding.
But I do love that there is a particularly chronic disease sufferers refer to the premise of spoons. Today is a 5 out of 10 spoons day.
Right. Okay.
Today is a 6 out of 10 spoons day, or whatever. On my weekly board outside this office, which we can see from the kitchen, you can see the events going on over the next month, and you can see the number of spoons allocated to each individual. And I sit at about 9. My wife sits at she's I think at about 3 or 4 at the moment, and my daughter's about 7 or 8.
Okay.
So look, I love that. I love that. The use of the spoons thing, but it is true. We all have at times where our mental health suffers, and it's important that we during those times put our mental health ahead of other things, and particularly ahead of petty potentially political squabbling. So if he's taking time off to deal with his mental health, that's fantastic. If he had tanked the Nationals and the alliance, the coalition, which he almost did the week previous, as a consequence of that, then that's really unfortunate, and really unfortunate that he didn't seek help before then. But what can you do? Sometimes mental health is one of those guiding forces, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Look, like I say, I think since most people wouldn't be aware of what's happening with the Friendly Jordies situation, and they see that he is just taking some time out for his own mental health, and he normalises that, then I think that's great, because he's sort of, I mean, I don't know what the history is, but he's certainly one of the first politicians I've heard of who are taking leave purely for mental health reasons. Like, you usually get, I want to spend more time with my family, all that sort of stuff. But just to say, hey, look, it's a bit much at the moment, and take a step back, I think is a good thing. A lot
of the time they don't
in most circumstances. Yeah,
they just, a lot of the time they don't tell us. They just organise. They look at the parliamentary calendar, see when the sitting dates are, and they might take a week or 2 weeks off, and ensure that they have a minister to fill their portfolio for whatever that length of time is.
Yeah.
So the fact that he's making a point of saying why he's taking time off, and look, I've just done a little bit of a look into YouTube, and there does seem to be a few targeted things on there from the Friendly Jordies. Specifically targeting John Barilaro. So
yes,
that's always a little bit unfortunate. But I'm not necessarily one of those people that says if you're in the public eye, you sort of made that choice to be public and to. That is one of the consequences, that you are open to criticism. Invariably that is true. But the other side of that is we are also Australian, and it'd be great if we could, not be assholes.
Yep, that's right. Agreed. But Friendly Jordies is certainly one of those people who don't hold back, and he goes for the jugular. Now,